Hello, my legends. This is Matthew again with another hosted video for you. This time we're going to be looking at something a little bit different to do. We're going to be looking at how to create your own pie hole. A little funny there. I don't know why. Anyways, so the pie hole creation, as you can see on the screen here, is a, or what you'll see on the screen as well, more in-depth, wherever it went, Raspberry Pi. So if you have a random Raspberry Pi lying around, fantastic if you do. I believe this will help you out in the long run to have one. This is a Raspberry Pi Model 3 version B 1.2. So this is back in 2015. It has an Ethernet, 4 USB adapters, and a micro SD slot, along with power, HDMI, and thing here actually, which is the modifications that were done. It's a custom case along with some thermal pads on the CPU, and so yeah, this should be good. And long it has like these little cutout holes right there, so you can hang up and wire it up to my network. This is my at home, so this is great for at home, even for businesses. So basically, what the Pi hole is a middleware between your router and your modem. So you have your modem and your router, and I'll post it up on the screen here. And then in between your router, Wi-Fi, everywhere else, this is where this bad boy is going to live. So it's going to be the in-between between your modem and your router and your rest of your entire network, because all your DNS traffic basically is getting pointed to the DNS of this boy right here. So instead of 1.1.1 or 8.8.8, it's going to be pointing to the static IP address you're going to give it, okay? And so what this project is, and you can see how easy it is to install this Pi-hole networking blocking ad. It is by far the best, most comprehensive piece of software I've used, open piece of software that just works out of the box. Like I can turn off a BP, Ad Block Plus, and this will do way better job 100% of the time. So I'm really doing a good shout out for this guy here. So let's get right into it. So first thing you're going to need a Raspberry Pi. I spelled that wrong. The Raspbian is 351.6 megabytes. Just barely going. Okay, so second thing you're going to need, so my main computer, I don't actually have an SD card reader, so I'm going to be using my Microsoft's, what do they call this thing? Surface Book laptop, as it does have an SD card. And you're going to need an SD card reader. And we're going to find that. So you're going to go ahead and eject the SD card out of the Raspberry Pi. And now once that's done, you got to go find a converter. So I will be right back. All right, that was relatively simple to find because I have about 20 of them on stock. So this guy is a SD card, micro SD card reader, or adapter. Sorry, they're considered adapters. Oh, I don't want to drop that. Oh, so I should tell you about the size. So I recommend 16 gigabytes because I like using my Raspberry Pi for multiple things, VPN. Once you stick it in your SD card, and you just heard it connected, we're going to go ahead and take a look at what that looks like. Alrighty, everybody, so I have completed the download for this particular file. So this is on my Surface Book. So let's go ahead and go to my downloads folder. And there it is. So let's go ahead and extract the files here to Raspbian Stretch Lite. And as that's finishing, okay, so then the second thing you're going to download. So number one, download Raspbian. Number two, download the SD card formatter. All right, and just double check that is the correct boot or correct drive. I'm 100% guaranteed it is. Yeah, it is. So let's go ahead and delete that. Right. So D. It's telling you how big it is. We're going to call this Pi hole, so I know that this is going to work. Yes, I know I'm going to delete all my stuff. That's fine. That's fine. We want to delete all of it. Okay, so now it's empty. It's telling you what it is. And so now we can close this up. So now that that's done, now we can go over here to BalenaEtcher, which is another SD card services, to images. So there's our image. Okay. We're going to tell, oh, we're going to, yeah, that is the correct one. And we're going to hit flash. Let's go ahead and let the CMD run its thing. And as you can tell, it's starting here. So that's all we're going to be doing. Legitimate, because sometimes there is some corruption issues, so we don't want that. So let's go ahead and power this puppy up. Boom! So there's the files. You saw them really quickly. And that's all you need. You take this out. You put it in to, so take it out of the adapter. You're going to put it into the SD card reader underneath. I'm trying to do this without, okay, looking at it. And that's it. You need to find the USB power. I suggest grabbing, matters is some micro USB, I think it's A, yeah, or B, sorry, B. So you can see the flat, add in to the HDMI port on here, and we're going to plug it into my computer. Be right back. God, that looks horrible. Sorry, guys. Alright, a long arse time. There's going to be a yellow dot coming up here, meaning that up, so it means it's under voltage, underpowered. And that only happened because I plugged in the keyboard, but let's see. Alright, it's working. Root, I think. And then Ethernet cable here. And we're going to plug it in to the Pi-hole. So I'm doing that right now very carefully because for whatever reason, the power is very finicky. Okay, so right now I just, as you can see in the top right corner I was talking about, it's doing that stupid thing because I moved it. Alright, so I'm going to do if config on this guy. And, okay, so now that that's done, let's go ahead and bring back up our Pi terminal, restart the session. There we go. Alright, so Pi, Raspberry. Come on. Okay. Raspberry. There we go. Okie dokie. So, it's a very convenient way to do this. So the first thing we need to do is grab the GitHub for this particular Pi-hole. And so if we go over here, we're going to curl.ssl https install Pi-hole. It's checking if we're the root user. We are. And once that's done, so you see the little cute little raspberry ASCII style system. And so, by the way, I did that through the terminal because I installed the Raspberry Lite version. So the Lite version does not have a GUI or a graphical user interface, so it is terminal only. So remember, make sure if you do want to have a cursor mouse desktop combo, you're going to install the Raspberry, this one says desktop and recommended software. I did the Lite stretch because I don't want, this is just a server that sits up on the on a shelf. I don't need it to run a GUI. It needs to just run very, very basic services and the things I'm telling it to run, the servers that I'm telling it to install and run here. So that's it. That was a one-hit command. You're going to go ahead and you see that the installer will transform your device into a network-wide ad blocker. That's okay. Pi-hole is free, but powered by your donations. Definitely give them a donation. I send them a donation all the time. For every donation you send me, I'll send them the donation. I'll send 50% of that donation to them. So, very cool. All right. The Pi-hole is a server, so it needs a static IP address to function properly. This is absolutely correct. You can choose your network. So let's go ahead and say OK. And we only want ETH01. You're going to tell it what your upstream wants it to be. I like the I like OpenDNS. But for right now, Cloudflare is the 1.1, but for right now, let's just do Google's. Okay, so this is going to be the interesting part. So let's just go ahead and read it in its entirety. Pi-hole relies on third-party lists in order to block ads. Okay, so these are known people that create lists out there to help the masses, us, the public, to help us stay away from things that could harm us. So here it says you can use the suggestion below or add your own after the installation. So that's really cool if you want to do your own. Deselect any list using the arrow key. So let's go ahead and do this one. Actually, let's do all of them. All right, so it's telling you malware domains, Stephen Black, blacklist, Zeus tracker, discon track, discon ad, host files, etc. So those look good to me. They've always worked great. This is telling you what protocols that it should actually work with. So if you have IPv6, which by the way, Windows 10 standard, all have IPv6 installed and enabled. So I would do both, really. And if you definitely have like a Comcast gateway or a CenturyLink or a Cox or whatever your provider, they also install it on there as well. So definitely do that. Do you want to use your current network settings as a static address? It's a lot easier. Or we can just say no. And what you could do is .2. Now let me make sure I don't have it. Very easy. So /24 will work. The default. That's okay for the default gateway. Yes. Yes, I do want that on. Yes, you do want a little HTTP server, web server turned on. Yes, I do. Nope, I want to show everything. I don't really care. I'm not being secretive for anything. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pause the video. It's got 4 out of 19 to go. It's already almost done by the time I finish this sentence. Let's just go ahead and let it go. So why would you use this in your environment? Well, for home and for business, actually, it has a great application. It would keep you safe. So for the majority of those, so what my company is about right now currently is proactive care. These are things I install by default. So this is going to be for a customer. I go ahead and drop it into the customer's location, and because it boils down to you, the end user, who is basically not educated in the way of surfing the web safely. Okay, so 9 out of 10 times it's an accidental click from a email. It's an accidental click from hovering over an ad or clicking on an ad within reputable sources. And that's a good way to get some cookies, viruses, some malware viruses, some worms and trojans. And it's something you really can't control in this day and age. I know there's a lot of strict rules out there from these advertisement platforms, but then there's a lot of companies who just open their ad spaces to whoever and don't have the cool newest and greatest algorithms to check against these environments in a sandbox and a safe environment before they get published and released to you, the masses. So really what this does is it helps the internet so that when people are affected with them, they can report them to a list, and then those lists get updated, and guess what? You don't have the reoccurrences, or you won't be safe, or it won't even load certain pages. So those are the like really bad website pages. Usually when this says like you can't even go there, great. You know it did its job. Sometimes if you even go to YouTube, if you go to New York Times, if you go to some of the biggest websites in the world, even just Google searches, the ads won't appear. It'll just be this weird X'd out thumb because it literally just tells you it cannot load that particular source. So within your web browser, from an end user state, I'll show you, you can't even see the unsafeness of the specific ads or sometimes even all the ads. And it's getting more and more common it's all the ads. And I'm okay with that, right? I don't need to see all the ads. I don't even need to see some of the ads, really. I know SEO people out there are going to hate me. Guess what? I'm a small business company. I run Facebook ads. I run Google ads. I run LinkedIn ads and Twitter and Instagram ads. And, you know, if this is going to help people, I'm all about helping people more than making a buck. You know, this is what this whole thing's about. That's why this is a DIY. If you sign up with my services, this is like I said, this is included as part of your onboarding process for free. You guys get a Pi you guys get this, and it covers one computer. So you gotta have. So you'll go to my website vitecaz.com, use the Allen line estimator, and we'll start the process. Okay, so now that this is available, there's one thing I don't like here. This should be HTTPS. Really, you know, in this day and age, you can use certbot or certbot for Linux for Let's Encrypt at this point in life. So I'll probably work on making that compatible sometime in the near future here. Okay. Okay. So right here is our password. Okay. So it's saved. And obviously the first thing I would do, I would change the default password so it tells you how to do this. So you say pi-hole tac A tac P, enter. So I'm going to go ahead and generate a password. Generator, copy that password. Don't worry, I'm going to change it by the time you guys get back. Okay, password changed, right? So I'm going to do that command again in just a little bit so you guys can't log into this. Okay, so the next thing you need to do is you need to make sure this is running. So if we go to your settings, bam. So it's telling you how this thing's, so it's only using 3%, only 1.7%, use memory is 15, DNS is blah. Okay, so now I'm going to change this. I don't know. Is it Cloudflare dot? I think it is. Oh, okay, cool. So we can turn these ones off. Turn these ones. What? Okay, so we're going to do the 1.1.1. We're going to say listen only on interfaces etho. So I'm not using the Wi-Fi version or the Wi-Fi of this, so it's only ETH0. But if you're going to use, let's say, Docker, and you had multiple Ethernet sources, or perhaps you said you had a network card or something plugged in, you want to run this on your server, this Pi, then you would need to a Pi hole. Then you would need to make sure you say on all interfaces. Okay. So I'll use non-fully qualified domain names, DNS sec. I like these turned off. Okay, so we're just going to hit save. Okay, number 2. So this does have a built-in cached system. So I've noticed, and this is affecting me as a web designer too, part of what we do. Sometimes you can't see your changes live and you have to clear your cache. This is really annoying. So you're going to have to, unfortunately, there's not an easy way to do this. You do need to turn off caching on this system, but I'm going to leave it on for now and work on this later because, like I said, this video is getting already. I know there's a way, and I've done it before. So let's go to our terminal. Let's try pi-hole pi-hole up. Update, yeah, so that's just a dash. I guess you could always man it if you didn't know. Pi-hole up. And then pi-hole status tells you how things are running, if they are running. Okay, so it says up to date. Don't know why it's blinking update available. Now, yum. I'm not sure. It says everything's up to date, but yet it's blinking. Pi-hole version up to date. No. 4.2.3. 4. Okay, so log on to your router. And you're going to plug in your DNS server to that server we just made. Bam. You're going to go down and hit apply. And it's done. Okay? That's it. Once the traffic starts going through here, you're gonna, you know what? For right now, since you guys are watching, this is all part of live. Let's just go ahead and apply. I may lose internet here for just a second. Here, let's see this live. Boom. Tac A, tac man, so jittery. I'm like hyped up. Oh, not release. IP flags flush be in boot, ladies and gentlemen, because this will not work until you do a reboot. And I don't want to release. Oh, yeah. Okay, be right back.